Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for Affinity software. Now this isn't just for Affinity Photo or Designer or Publisher that's in beta at the moment. It should pretty much work the same in all three of those programs, and I'm only using Photo because I feel more comfortable in that program myself. Now this is an image that I made as a sample of a layered font. Now I posted a link to a layered font, which is a free one to download, called Van Chrome, and it comes from the Creative Fabrica website. Now to get it for free you just have to sign up for it, so it's pretty easy to get hold of, and I posted this in the Facebook group that I run, Fans of Serif Software. Somebody asked how you used a layered font, so I'm making this hopefully quick tutorial to show you how you can use it. But let me just scroll down here, and it does show you all the different types or layers of this particular font that you can get. There's 14 different sort of types of this same font, and you will get them all when you download it. Because if I go to here, this is where I downloaded it. You'll get a zip file. You just need to unzip that file, and when you've done that, you will, as you can see here, you will get 14 different versions of the same font, and luckily they're all named in a sort of fairly sensible way, so you know how this will work. So if I come back to Photo, and I've just opened up a random background. This is just for me to show you how this works. So the actual picture is not necessarily that important. It could just be a blank document or whatever you want. So first of all we need some text, so I will come to the text tool, and I'll just change the font to the one that I want, which I know is Van Chrome, and I will just change this to outline just to make it easier to see, and then I'll just draw out some text, and right, that's obviously too big. Let me just reduce this in size, and just center this. Do center it that way as well. Click OK. So there we have the first layer. Now there are 14 different versions of this typeface, so I'm going to need a layer for each one. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this. I'm just doing this to demonstrate how you can use the different layers. So I'm going to need to duplicate this now 13 more times. So you can do that by just right clicking on the layer and coming down to duplicate, or you can press Ctrl and J on the keyboard, or Command and J on a Mac, I believe it is. So that is the first one. So I'm going to do the rest of them using the keyboard. So I need another 12. That's right. So I've now got 12 versions of the same layer. Let me just come down to the bottom here, and I'm going to highlight that bottom layer, come to the top, hold down Shift and highlight the one underneath the top layer, and then I'm going to turn off all of those other layers. I am also going to, if I just hold down the Control key, I can then also highlight that top layer, and I'm just going to click on this padlock to put a lock on all the layers so they shouldn't be able to move, not so much move, but you can't change the sizes and whatever, so they should all stay in the same place. So just to make it easier to see, I'm going to turn off the background for now. And now it's just a case of renaming each of these to make it easier to follow. So I've got the top layer highlighted here. So as you can see, it's set up on the outline. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this up, and then I'm going to rename the layer up. And I'll come down to the bottom. I'll turn that one off a second. Come down to the bottom one, highlight it, turn it on, and I'm going to make this one down. So rename this. So they're fairly obvious in their names because it's up and down. So I'm going to go through all of these now and rename them, and I will come back when I've finished. So just hang on a second. Right, okay, I have renamed all the different layers and changed the font to match up with the layer that I've named it. Now, a couple of things I want to do here. It's like the back I want at the very bottom. So I'm just going to highlight the back layer, and I'm going to click and drag it downwards, and so it comes between the background and the one named down. And the sparkle I know I need near the top, so I'm going to click and drag this upwards so it's just underneath the up layer. And there is another one here which I think is, what's it called, sky. Again, that's one that would help to be near the top of the layer stack. So I'm going to click and drag this up to just under sparkle. So that's just a little bit of sort of, what's the word, house care, whatever the word is, I can't remember what the word is. So now it's just a case of turning on and using the layers in different ways. So let me turn off the outline layer and turn on the back layer. So highlight it and then put a tick into it. Now this would be a solid background, and you can leave it black, but I'm going to just pick a colour for this. So let's go with a yellow. So we now have the solid yellow background, and if I then highlight the outline layer, put a tick in it, we now have the black outline. Now if you don't like if you think the outline is a bit too thick, let me turn that off. I think there's one here called Edge, which gives you a thin line sort of inside the text. So you can do it either way. I personally prefer the outline, and you could have the edge on as well, but you wouldn't really see that because it's covered in by the outline. So let's, for example, let's come up to the sparkle and turn that one on, and because this is all basically at the moment in black, let me just pick a colour. The red may stand out a bit better, so that red sparkle in the top of each of the letters, this might stand out a bit more if I turn the background on now. It might be easier to see that now rather than just having that blank background. So that is just with 3 of the layers on. Now you've got this one here called Sky, which will sort of fill in the top part of that, but you could change the colour of that. Let's go for a blue right there, and there should be one called Ground. which should do the similar thing at the bottom. So you could pick the same blue. So we're sort of changing the colours and whatever you want. Let's try the grid one, and this will put these lines that will sort of make it look, and it's going into the background, sort of very 80s font type look. And it's just a case of picking and choosing the different layers that you may want. Now the black outline that we've got here, you can change the different colours of the left, the right, the top, the bottom. So I know that the up should change the colour of the top edge of the font. So let's pick a colour and stand out. Let's try this horrible pink colour here. So that is the top, and down should be the bottom edge. So let's try green. That should stand out. And then you got the right. Again, we'll try that as a greeny colour, and there should be a left one here as well. Let's try a slightly different green. Oh, that's probably horrible, that one doesn't stand out so well. Let me just come off of that tool for a second. So as you can see, using various layers and various colours, you can get all sorts of different effects. But let me just turn off some of these. I don't need the left or the right. And where's the other one? Let me turn off the sparkle for a second, makes that a bit more visible. And we'll have a look at one of the other ones. Let's try ground. Oh, we've got that one. Horizon. This will just sort of flood the bottom half of the text. What else haven't we tried yet? Front. Oh, this will just fill in the front area of this text, because if I turn off ground, as you can see, you get a different effect that way. So it is just a case of trying different layers in different positions and seeing, and different colours obviously, and seeing what you like. You could probably even add an effect to a certain area. Let's try the bottom blue colour, which should be this ground, I think. Yes, it is. So let's add an effect to that. Let's try and make that. Let's try a 3D and see if I can push that up a bit. No, that's not really having any effect on that. Let's try one of the other ones. No, it doesn't seem to be having that much effect on that particular layer. Might help if I was on the right layer. Let's try that again. Which one was I doing? Ground should have been. Don't know quite how I changed layers. Let's try that again. Very sorry about that. Right, FX 3D. Right, that's a bit better. Yeah, so I can affect just the one area, one part of the text by adding some effects to it. Let's try a bit of inner glow and sort of just altering that. So as you can see, you can not just change the different effects by
adding or taking away certain layers. You can even add effects to those layers to make it a totally different looking text altogether. Sorry about the mistakes that I made there, but basically that is it. I will add a link to this particular font in the description for this video, but there are many other types of layered fonts. If I remember correctly, let's go back to the font tool. I think I've got one here called Bradley, something like that. No, must be here. I'm sure it's called Bradley something or other. There we go, Bradley Extra. They got the Bradley Extra 1 to the shadow. It's not quite as layered as this in the sense that they don't sort of overlap each other, but it does give you different effects. And so there are quite a few fonts that you can do this with. So basically that is it. Thank you for watching and goodbye.